You know what surprised me most about turning 82? It wasn't the wrinkles or the slower mornings. It was realizing how much unnecessary weight I'd been carrying for decades. And I don't mean physical weight, I mean mental weight. Things I finally stopped caring about, and almost overnight, life felt lighter. People's opinions, being perfect, keeping everything under control. If you're over 60, or honestly over 30, these can save you years of stress. I'm going to share 7 things I let go of in my 80s, how I actually did it, and why it made me happier, calmer, and more at peace. This isn't advice from a book, just lived experience. The first thing I stopped caring about was what people think of me. For most of my life, I worried about how I dressed, how I spoke, whether I seemed smart enough, and what relatives might say behind my back. Then, one day I asked myself, if they're not paying my bills or living my life, why am I giving them so much space in my head? Research shows that humans spend more than half their social anxiety worrying about imagined judgments, things that never actually happen. When I finally let that go, I felt 10 pounds lighter. At 70, I wouldn't wear bright colors. At 82, I'll wear a red hat to the grocery store and laugh when teenagers compliment it. The second thing I let go of was the need to control everything. I used to think if I worried enough, I could prevent bad things. Spoiler, worry doesn't prevent anything. It just exhausts you. Life has its own personality and timelines. I started focusing on what I could actually control: my attitude, how I treat people, how I spend my time, and my health. Everything else went into the let it be category. The third thing was old grudges. Anger ages you. Not forgiving someone doesn't punish them. It punishes you. A relative I hadn't spoken to in 20 years called me last year. We talked for 8 minutes. 8 minutes erased to decades of distance. I slept better that night than I had in months. Sometimes letting go is the only closure you ever need. The fourth thing was the obsession with being productive. Society loves to ask, what did you accomplish today? At 82, my question changed to, did I enjoy today? Yesterday, I spent an hour watching birds on my porch. 40-year-old me would have called it a waste of time. 82-year-old me knows joy is never wasted. I also stopped stressing about money after a certain point. For so many years, I chased just a little more, even when I already had what I needed to live. One day, I sat down and really calculated what enough meant: food, housing, healthcare, transportation, and some enjoyment. Anything beyond that didn't make me happier. Research shows happiness tends to plateau once basic needs and a bit of comfort are met. What actually matters is security and peace, not accumulation. Another thing I stopped caring about was pretending I wasn't aging. Aging isn't a failure, but for some reason we treat it like one. I used to hide my age. Now I say it proudly because aging is a privilege. Not everyone gets 82 years. My knees complain on stairs. I forget where I left my glasses. I tell stories twice. So what? It means I've lived long enough to have stories. And finally, I stopped pretending I had to be strong all the time. My generation was raised to swallow everything: pain, grief, fear. But I learned something powerful in my 80s. Sharing your pain doesn't make you weaker. It makes you human. Oh my. When my spouse passed, I tried to hold it together for months. Only when I finally cried with my daughter did the healing begin. Strength isn't about not breaking. It's about knowing when to soften. Once those 7 weights were gone, lightness showed up without effort. I laughed more. I rested without guilt. I reconnected with people I thought were gone for good. I tried new things. I appreciated quiet moments and accepted help. Psychologists call this selective optimization. Older adults thrive when they invest energy into what still matters and retire from what doesn't. T here's the truth I wish I de-learned earlier. Most of the things we worry about don't matter in the long run. And you don't need to wait until you're 82 to let them go. If you're 60, start now. If you're 40, even better. If you're 20, you might just cheat the system and get a head start on peace. Life gets better when you carry less, not when you accomplish more. Ask yourself tonight, what am I carrying that I don't need to? Even letting go of one thing lightens the load, and if nobody has told you this yet, it gets lighter. It really does.